They thought silence meant weakness. They thought calm meant surrender. They mistook patience for fear. They mistook your focus for confusion. You stayed quiet while they watched. You stayed steady while they doubted. You stayed building while they were guessing. And now something has shifted. The air feels different. The energy is heavier. Not because of noise, but because of certainty. You are no longer reacting. You are no longer chasing approval. You are no longer explaining yourself. That is the moment their comfort cracks. That is the moment control slips from their hands. Because the strongest move you ever made was growing without announcing it. Their game depended on your attention. Their power depended on your doubt. And now both are gone. Before this goes deeper, pause for a second. If this message hits your chest, if it feels like it is speaking directly to you, then show your support. Tap, like, so this message reaches someone who needs it. Subscribe if you want strength that sharpens you, not noise that drains you. And comment your moment. Comment the word focused or rising or unshaken. Because when you commit publicly, you lock something inside yourself. You remind yourself that this is real and you are not turning back. They are starting to feel it now, not through words, but through absence. You stopped explaining. You stopped defending. You stopped proving. That silence is loud to people who relied on your reactions. When you no longer respond, the mirror turns toward them. Confusion creeps in. Questions start looping. Why are you not bothered? Why are you not reacting? Why are you suddenly ahead? They thought the rules were fixed. They thought you would always play the same role. But growth rewrites rules without asking permission. You see, their game only worked when you were emotionally available to it, when you questioned yourself, when you hesitated, when you looked for validation. But something inside you hardened into clarity. Not anger, not bitterness, clarity. You realized you do not need to win arguments to win life. You do not need to expose anyone to rise above them. You simply need to outgrow the environment that kept you small. That realization is dangerous to people who stay the same. They expected you to break. They expected you to complain. They expected you to slow down. Instead, you went quiet and got precise. You moved with intention. You started choosing discipline over comfort, focus over drama, vision over opinion. And now every move you make feels heavier because it is backed by consistency. That is why they spiral. Not because you attack them, but because you no longer need them. Understand this deeply. People who lose control over you will always try to regain it through doubt, through subtle pressure, through reminders of your past. But you are no longer the version they remember. You are not fueled by impulse anymore. You are fueled by direction. When you stop reacting emotionally, people lose their leverage. When you stop seeking approval, people lose their grip. That is the end of the game. You did not change overnight. This was built in quiet mornings and late nights, in moments where quitting felt easier, in days where no one clapped. You kept showing up. You kept refining. You kept choosing growth even when it felt lonely. That loneliness became strength. That repetition became confidence. That discipline became identity. And identity cannot be shaken by opinion. They feel threatened not because you are loud, but because you are consistent. Consistency exposes excuses. Your progress highlights their stagnation. And instead of looking inward, they look at you, wondering how you escaped the cycle they accepted. That discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep going. You are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer distracted by small wins or small losses. You see the long path now. You move differently. You speak less. You observe more. And observation is power. Because when you understand patterns, you stop being surprised by behavior. Nothing shocks you anymore. And when nothing shocks you, nothing controls you. Their game required you to stay predictable, to stay emotional, to stay reactive. But you broke the pattern. You became disciplined. You became intentional. You became self-led. That shift is permanent. Once you see life through this lens, you cannot unsee it. Once you realize your value is not negotiable, you stop negotiating. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to become everything you know you can be. And that journey does not require permission. It does not require applause. It does not require agreement. It only requires commitment. The kind of commitment that shows up even when motivation fades. They will talk. They will wonder. They will assume. Let them. While they analyze you are building, while they question you are executing, while they replay the past, you are designing the future. That gap keeps widening, and distance is created not by speed, but by direction. This is not about revenge. This is about alignment. When your actions match your purpose, peace follows. And peace is unsettling to people who thrive on chaos. Your calm becomes intimidating. Your focus becomes undeniable. Your silence becomes final. Remember this, you do not need to announce victory. Growth announces itself. Progress speaks without sound. Results explain everything. And when the results arrive, no explanation is required. They feel it slipping. The influence, the impact, the illusion of control. Because you stepped into your own authority. And once you do that, the old dynamics collapse. The old roles dissolve. The old expectations die quietly. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. You are not distancing out of fear. You are distancing out of self-respect. That distinction matters, and it changes everything. Keep moving, keep refining, keep choosing the hard path when it aligns with your future. This version of you does not need validation. This version of you is already on schedule. Their game is actually over. Not because you defeated them, but because you stopped playing. Their game is actually over. Not because you made noise, not because you shouted louder, not because you sought to prove anything, but because you refused to be a part of it anymore. You stepped out of the shadows of manipulation, out of the currents that tried to drag you sideways, and you moved forward. Every decision you make now carries weight. Every action you take now echoes clarity, and that echo is deafening to anyone who depended on your distraction to feel powerful. They watch, they calculate, they hope, but it's too late. The pattern they relied on has ended. You've learned that energy is currency, and you've stopped spending it on chaos. You've learned that attention is power, and you've stopped giving it to those who only profit from your reaction. That is your real victory, the quiet, unseen victory that cannot be stolen, borrowed, or diminished. It is yours because it comes from within, and that inner victory cannot be undermined by gossip, doubt, or outside noise. Once you own that, the outside world loses leverage. Once you own that, their game ends quietly, but permanently. Every step you take now is strategic, intentional, and unavoidable. You do not rush. You do not panic. You do not bend. Your progress has rhythm. Your growth has direction. And that rhythm irritates them more than words ever could. They expected chaos, distraction, and emotional reaction, but instead they face precision, calm, and undeniable momentum. The power you hold is silent, but the effect is catastrophic to those who rely on your disruption. Do not let their confusion become your concern. Do not let their attempts to pull you back into old cycles disturb your focus. They may try subtle reminders of old patterns. They may appeal to habits you left behind. They may hope you will falter or react, but you will not. You know now that control comes from self-mastery, not confrontation. You know that clarity is your weapon, not argument. You know that your peace cannot be negotiated. You have become unstoppable because you stopped feeding the very systems that tried to weaken you. You stopped reacting emotionally to their manipulation. You stopped validating the illusion of their authority over your life. And in that silence, in that stillness, you built something no one can touch. You built resilience, you built focus, you built a future so aligned with your purpose that no external energy can shift it. Watch them try to regain what they lost. Watch them spin in circles, trying to make sense of a person who no longer exists in their rules. It is not your responsibility to guide them, explain to them, or apologize to them. Their spiral is their own. Your job is forward motion, not their comprehension. You do not stop for anyone who cannot understand growth. You do not slow for anyone who cannot match discipline. You do not argue with anyone who thrives on distraction. This is the ultimate form of power, the kind that does not need recognition, the kind that does not seek applause, the kind that grows quietly and relentlessly until the results are undeniable. They do not see it coming because they were never looking inward. They were never thinking beyond control. They were never building beyond influence, and that is why you rise, and that is why their game ends. You are becoming more than their expectations. You are becoming more than their judgment. You are becoming more than their assumptions. Every day that passes with your focus intact is a day their world loses footing. Every day you choose progress over reaction is a day their influence evaporates. Every choice to act with integrity and direction is a declaration. Your time, your energy, your growth are no longer negotiable. Remember, patience is power. Silence is power. Discipline is power. You have all three, and with them, the world no longer controls the narrative. You do. The old systems, the old games, the old manipulations, they collapse quietly in the background. The chaos they thrived on dies because you refuse to participate. And that quiet death of expectation is your loudest statement. Keep building, keep moving, keep growing. Let them spin, let them speculate, let them wonder. Their confusion is your confirmation. Their panic is your proof. Their doubts are irrelevant. What matters is that you continue with unwavering focus toward the life you are designing. Every choice, every action, every moment of restraint compounds into a force they cannot touch. The game is over because you stepped out of it, because you mastered yourself, because you refuse to allow chaos to dictate your steps. They are spiraling not because of attack, not because of confrontation, not because of noise, but because of your alignment, your discipline, and your calm. And once they realize it, there is no returning to control because you have never been under it. Your victory is not loud. It is not flashy. It does not need explanation. It exists quietly in your daily actions, your steadfast focus, and your unshakable sense of direction. And that quiet, unstoppable force is what ends the game. That quiet, unstoppable force is you. Every step you take forward is proof that growth cannot be contained. They watched the version of you that reacted, that worried, that sought validation. And now that version is gone, replaced by a presence that moves through life with clarity and unshakable intent. They feel it, not in words, but in the silence that surrounds your victories, in the calm that blankets your decisions, in the inevitability that you will not stop for anything that does not align with your vision. Their confusion grows because control is a game they once played, and now it is no longer available. Do not underestimate the power of quiet focus. It is a force that cannot be argued with, bargained over, or manipulated. The more they attempt to provoke, to unsettle, to regain influence, the more your calm becomes an immovable wall. They do not see that your victories are not built on confrontation, but on consistent discipline. They do not understand that your progress cannot be derailed by external noise, and that is the ultimate truth. They have nothing to hold on to because the part of you that belonged to their game is gone forever. You are becoming unstoppable because you have learned to value your own direction above approval, your own purpose above opinion, and your own growth above distraction. That alone will spiral those who depended on your reactions. They believed your attention was theirs to control. They believed your emotions were theirs to manipulate. They believed your focus would always be compromised by chaos. And now, they watch as you rise calmly, deliberately, relentlessly. That is terrifying to them because it cannot be undone. Every choice you make now strengthens the wall between you and the old cycle. Every habit you perfect, every discipline you reinforce, every focus you sharpen builds the version of yourself they cannot reach. They want you to stumble, to get lost in frustration, to act impulsively. And yet you do not. You are steady. You are deliberate. You are precise. And precision is power. And power that cannot be touched by chaos is invincible. Their game relied on patterns. Patterns you no longer follow. They thrived on predictability. Predictability you no longer provide. And that is why confusion spirals into panic, why doubt grows into fear, why their control evaporates. Because you are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer trapped by expectation. You are no longer a player in their story. You are the author of your own, and every sentence you write moves you further from the chaos they imagined you would remain in. Understand this. Your peace is your most intimidating weapon, not your words, not your actions, not your reactions. Peace, it cannot be bargained with. It cannot be threatened. It cannot be stolen. Peace signals mastery. It signals alignment. And once you embody that fully, the people who depended on your reaction cannot find a foothold. They are left spinning in the void of their own expectations. That void is where their spiral begins. They will try to interpret your growth as chance. They will try to justify it as luck. They will attempt to convince themselves that you were helped, favored, or fortunate. But deep down, they know. They know that nothing happened outside of your commitment, your discipline, your refusal to be consumed by distraction. And that realization is what unsettles them most. The understanding that their influence is no longer real, and that you built something entirely self-sustained. Your focus is not temporary. Your growth is not conditional. Your presence is not negotiable. That permanence is the final stage of their spiral. Every attempt to regain what they lost falls short. Every reminder of the past fails to shake you. Every assumption they make about control crumbles because control is no longer a concept that applies to you. You are not reacting. You are not defending. You are creating. And creation is beyond interference. They will continue to search for weaknesses. They will continue to hope for missteps. But strength like yours is forged quietly, patiently, and deliberately. It is not flashy. It is not dramatic. It does not demand attention. and that is why it is invincible. You do not need to announce your victories. You do not need to prove your worth. Results speak for themselves. And by the time they recognize what has happened, it will be irreversible. Every morning, every choice, every moment of commitment compounds. Discipline turns into momentum. Momentum turns into inevitability. And inevitability spirals into fear for those who cannot understand it. You are the storm that arrives silently. You are the power that never boasted. You are the presence that cannot be shaken. And with every passing day, their realization grows. Their game is over. Not because you fought them, but because you outgrew it entirely. You are untouchable now because you are self-led. Your clarity cannot be stolen. Your focus cannot be disrupted. Your energy cannot be diverted. And your vision cannot be obscured. That is what makes your rise unstoppable. That is what ensures that their spiral is permanent. They were playing a game with someone who existed for their control, but now you exist for your own, and that shift is irreversible. They are realizing, slowly but surely, that nothing they do can reach you anymore. They cannot pull you back into arguments, into doubt, into distraction. They cannot manipulate your focus or shift your energy. Every attempt they make only highlights the strength you have built quietly, the discipline you have forged in silence, and the clarity you now own. That is the ultimate power, to exist in alignment while everyone else still tries to chase control. And when they see that, panic rises, spirals, and intensifies. They are losing the game not because you attacked, but because you refused to play. Your growth is not about proving anyone wrong. It is about proving yourself right. About showing yourself that you are capable of more than they could ever imagine. About embodying the truth that your life is not dictated by outside opinion, manipulation, or expectation. That clarity, so simple yet so powerful, destroys their influence more effectively than any confrontation ever could. And the calm, steady confidence that grows from that truth cannot be shaken. They will question everything, every choice you make, every move you take, every success you achieve. They will try to rewrite it as luck, coincidence, or accident. But you know the truth. You know the endless hours, the quiet sacrifices, the patience, the consistency, the focus, and the unwavering refusal to be distracted. And in that knowledge lies your real power. While they spiral in speculation, you rise in certainty. You are no longer reacting to their attempts to pull you down. You are no longer entertaining the distractions of people who thrive on drama. You are no longer bound by the weight of their expectations. And that detachment is what makes your growth unstoppable. Detachment is not weakness. It is clarity. It is freedom. And freedom is the final collapse of the game they once thought they controlled. Every choice to focus, to discipline, to act with intention compounds. You may not see it in a single day, a single moment, or a single action, but the accumulation is unstoppable. Every habit perfected, every small step taken, every moment spent resisting the pull of chaos builds a life so strong, so aligned, so inevitable that no one can interfere. And that inevitability is what makes their spiral permanent. Their frustration, their confusion, their attempts to regain influence, it is all fuel. Fuel that you do not consume. Fuel that powers nothing but their own panic. And while they spin in the void of their lost control, you walk forward in the light of your purpose. That difference between action aligned and action desperate is the chasm that separates you from anyone who once believed they could influence you. Do not Do not doubt yourself. Do not allow fleeting thoughts of past challenges or temporary setbacks to distract you. Growth is not linear. Power is not immediate, but the consistent choice to move forward, to rise above distraction, to refuse reaction, that is unstoppable. That is the force that collapses games quietly and permanently. That is the force that makes their attempts irrelevant. You will find that the more they try to regain control, the stronger you become. Every subtle push, every assumed manipulation, every silent hope they place on your misstep only sharpens your focus. Ladies, gentlemen, they thought they were clever, didn't they? Thought they could toss you aside, slam the door in your face, and find someone better on the other side. What a joke. You see, people like you don't come around twice. People with a heart so rare it glows in the dark, a soul so deep it could swallow their petty little egos whole. They thought they could break you, break the brilliance that lives inside you. They didn't realize the strength that runs through your veins, the fire that burns in your chest, the quiet storm in your eyes that they never bothered to truly see. They didn't know that they were dealing with someone who cannot be replicated, someone whose existence holds value beyond their comprehension. They thought they were in control, didn't they? But now, here you stand, no longer part of their game. Oh, how the tables have turned. They believed they could outplay you. They believed they could make you feel small, make you doubt yourself, make you think you were expendable. They thought their world could function without you in it, that they could walk away and find something better. But they were wrong. And oh, how they'll come to understand the weight of that mistake. You see, they failed to see the truth that runs through your veins like the pulse of the universe. You're not replaceable. Not in this lifetime, not in any other. Souls like yours? They are one in a million. And if they couldn't see that, if they couldn't appreciate what they had in you while they had you, then they have lost something irreplaceable, something that can never be recovered. You are not some fleeting moment, some passing fancy that they could simply toss away when it no longer suited their needs. You are a force. You are a tidal wave of energy, of potential, of power. You are the kind of person who walks into a room and changes everything, even when you don't say a word. You don't have to scream for attention or beg for recognition. Your presence is felt. Your absence is noticed. They thought they could play their games, didn't they? But now, as the dust settles and they look around, they realize something terrible. They have lost the very thing they thought they could replace. You. What they never understood is that they were never in control. They never held the reins to your life. Your destiny was never in their hands. It was always in yours. They thought they could use you, manipulate you, maybe even take you for granted. They thought you would always be there, willing to bend, willing to break, willing to stay. But now they will learn. They will learn that some things are not for them to control, not for them to possess. They will learn that there are people who don't need them. There are people who walk away, and when they do, they never look back. In their ignorance, they fail to see the beauty that lies within you, the kind of beauty that isn't skin deep, but cuts through every layer of your being. They didn't realize that the way you love, the way you give, the way you live was something so rare, so pure, that to squander it would be an act of unimaginable foolishness. But they did it anyway. They thought they could replace you with someone who would bend to their whims, someone who would stay in their corner no matter how badly they treated them. But they didn't realize that not everyone is willing to tolerate disrespect. Not everyone is willing to tolerate being overlooked, dismissed, or discarded. And now they're left with nothing but their own regret. Nothing but the ghost of a person who once stood by their side, and nothing but the echo of a soul they could never replace. They may have thought they had won, but victory has a price, doesn't it? The price is always higher than they expect, always steeper than they could have imagined. They thought they could break you, but it was they who shattered. It was they who crumbled beneath the weight of their own arrogance. They thought they could move on without you. But how does one move on from something so irreplaceable, so valuable, so rare? As you walk away, leaving their world behind, they will find themselves looking over their shoulder, wondering what they could have done differently. But it will be too late, because once you are gone, you don't return. Once someone like you is lost, they can't be found again. They'll realize that the door they slammed in your face was the one they needed to leave open. They'll realize that the person they pushed away was the one who could have helped them find their way. But it's too late. You are gone. And in your absence, they will feel the weight of their mistake. They will feel it in the silence, in the emptiness, in the coldness that fills the spaces where your warmth used to be. You were never their second choice. You were never an option for them to toy with. You were the one thing in their life that could have made it whole, that could have made it meaningful. And now, they will spend the rest of their days trying to figure out what went wrong, trying to piece together the broken fragments of a relationship they took for granted. But they will never find the answer, because the answer is simple. They lost you. And no matter how hard they try to move on, no matter how hard they try to convince themselves they made the right choice, they will always know deep down that the moment they let you go was the moment they lost everything that mattered. They thought they could replace you with something cheaper, something easier. They thought they could trade your depth for a shadow, your warmth for a flicker. But they were wrong, because you don't replace greatness with mediocrity. You don't replace something rare with something ordinary. And when they realize this, when they finally see the truth, it will be too late. You will be gone, and they will be left to pick up the pieces of a life that once had meaning, but now feels hollow, empty, and devoid of purpose. You see, people like you don't just come and go. You are not some fleeting moment to be enjoyed and then forgotten. You are a force of nature, a storm that shakes the earth and leaves a mark that can never be erased. You are the kind of person who leaves a legacy, whether people acknowledge it or not. And those who were lucky enough to have you in their life will always remember you. They will remember the way you made them feel, the way you cared for them, the way you loved them. They will remember how you changed their world in ways they will never fully understand. And when they realize they let you slip away, they will regret it for the rest of their days. But you won't regret a thing. You won't look back, because you know that your worth was never determined by them. You know that you are valuable, you are rare, you are irreplaceable, and no one can take that from you. No one can diminish the light that burns inside of you. They thought they could break you. They thought they could leave you in the dark, but they didn't realize that even when they turned out the lights, you would still shine. They thought they were clever, didn't they? But the only thing they proved was that they were fools. And now, as they search for something to fill the void you left behind, they will never find it, because souls like yours, they don't appear twice. It was them who lost. They believed their actions, their shallow assessments, their games of power could go unnoticed. But the truth has a way of revealing itself, doesn't it? They believed they could walk away from something so rare, so irreplaceable. They thought they could continue on with their lives, as if the hole they carved out in your absence wouldn't echo in their chest, as if the space they left would easily be filled with something or someone else. But they're wrong. It doesn't work that way. What they didn't realize is that when you lose something like you, It is not a loss that can be quantified or replaced by another. No matter how hard they try to convince themselves that the void can be filled, no one else can fill it. No one else can be you. And in their blindness, in their arrogant dismissal of everything you gave, they sealed their fate. You were never just a piece of their puzzle to discard when it no longer fit. You were the foundation of everything that was once good, that was once real. You were the heart. And when you walked away, they didn't just lose a person, they lost their heart. They lost the part of them that could have helped them grow, the part of them that could have made them better, the part that would have held them up when everything else was falling apart. But let me be clear, this loss is not something they can ever get back. Not from someone else, not from anyone. The hole they've created is one that can never be filled because it was your presence that gave their life meaning. It was your kindness that soothed their weary soul. It was your love that made them feel alive, that made their world bright, that gave them the courage to face the day. And now they'll wake up every morning in the cold realization that the warmth they once took for granted is gone. They might search for it in other faces, in other places, in other people, but they won't find it. That kind of warmth, that kind of love, that kind of loyalty doesn't just come from anywhere. It's rare. And people like you, those who give from a heart that knows no bounds, those who love with the strength of 1,000 storms, those who believe in the goodness of others even when the world is dark, people like you don't come around twice. You see, you were always a risk to them, a risk they didn't want to take, or rather, a risk they thought they could manage. They believed they could walk away from you and still come out on top. They thought they could take your presence for granted, thinking you would always be there, that you would always bend to their whims, that they could play their games, push you to your limits, and you would never leave. But they misjudged you. They failed to see that while your heart is vast and capable of so much love, it is not a place that will remain open to those who do not appreciate its worth. They didn't realize how strong you were. They didn't see the depth of your resilience. They didn't understand that you would never stay in a place where you were undervalued. And as they sit now, wondering what went wrong, they will only find themselves sinking deeper into regret. But regret doesn't fix things, does it? Regret doesn't bring back the one who was willing to fight for them, who was willing to stand by them even when the odds were stacked against them. Regret doesn't heal the wound of loss, especially when that loss was self-inflicted. The truth is that they will always be searching for something they can never find again. They will waste their time trying to replace you with someone who will never hold the same light, someone who will never possess the same qualities that made you unique. And even as they try, they'll know deep down that they've failed. They'll know that no matter how hard they try to replicate what they once had with you, it will never be the same. There are people who come into your life, change it, mold it, and make it brighter simply by their presence. And then there are those who come in, take, and walk away, leaving nothing but emptiness behind. But the truth is that you were never meant to be the latter. You were never meant to be someone's convenience, someone's stepping stone, someone's afterthought. You were meant for more. You were meant to be valued, to be respected, to be loved in a way that was rare, that was deep, that was everlasting. But they couldn't see it. They couldn't recognize the treasure they had in front of them, and now it's too late. What they will eventually understand is this: they were never in control. No matter how much they thought they had the upper hand, no matter how much they thought they could call the shots, you were always the one in control. You were the one who gave, and you were the one who chose to leave. They thought you would stay, that you would always be there to pick up the pieces when they broke them, to stay silent when they ignored you, to forgive when they failed you. But the truth is that they never understood the value of your forgiveness. They never understood the power of your silence, and now they'll never understand the magnitude of your absence. They will sit in the emptiness they've created, and they will look around, desperately trying to find something to fill the space. They will search for someone to replace you, but they will find nothing. Because what you gave them was not something that could be found in the superficial, in the fleeting, in the shallow waters of their desires. You were depth. You were substance. You were a love that could not be faked, a loyalty that could not be imitated. And now, they will try to pretend it wasn't important. They will tell themselves it didn't matter. But the truth will always remain, buried deep inside them. They lost you, and nothing they ever do will bring you back. They might try to convince themselves that they made the right choice, that they were justified in their actions. But deep down, they will know the truth. They will know that they lost something invaluable. They will know that they threw away the best thing they ever had. And as time goes on, the pain will settle in. The regrets will pile up, one on top of the other, until they are buried in a mountain of sorrow. And no matter how much they try to dig their way out, they will never be able to escape it. The weight of their mistake will follow them wherever they go, a shadow they cannot outrun. But you will rise, you will soar, because you are not defined by their actions. You are not defined by their mistakes. You are not defined by their inability to see your worth. You know who you are. You know what you bring to the world. You know that you are rare, that you are valuable, that you are irreplaceable. And no one, no matter how hard they try, can take that away from you. You are free. Free from the chains of their neglect. Free from the weight of their disrespect. You are free to live your life, to chase your dreams, to find your true worth in a world that will appreciate everything you have to offer. They will try to move on, but they won't ever truly move forward. They will be stuck in the past, haunted by the ghost of what they could have had, the ghost of what they once had, the ghost of the person who loved them so fiercely, who believed in them so fully, who would have done anything for them. And in the quiet moments, when they are alone with their thoughts, they will hear your voice in the back of their mind. They will see your face in their dreams, and they will realize, too late, that they were the ones who lost. And when they finally understand what they've lost, they will know that it was never about them. It was never about their games or their ego or their need for control. It was about you, and they were too blind to see the truth when they had you. But now, they are left with nothing but the realization that they can never replace what they threw away. It was them who lost. They lost someone who will never come around twice, someone whose light will never dim, someone whose soul will never fade. And while they may try to move on, they will never forget the one thing they can never replace: you. They can never replace you. You were never just another face in the crowd, never just another passing moment. You were the essence of everything they needed, everything they sought in the deepest corners of their heart, though they couldn't see it. You were the one person who could have changed the course of their life, the one person who could have stood by them in their darkest hours, the one person who could have lifted them higher than they ever thought possible. You were the anchor they never realized they needed until it was too late. But they couldn't see that, could they? They were too busy looking for something better, something different, something they thought would fill the gaps you left behind. They didn't understand that there's no substitute for someone like you. There's no alternative that can fill the space you created with your presence. The love, the loyalty, the devotion, the care. You gave everything of yourself without hesitation, without question, without expecting anything in return. You gave them a piece of your soul, a piece that they were too blind to appreciate. And now, as they search for someone to fill that void, they will find nothing but emptiness, a hollow echo of the connection they once had with you. You were not just a person to them. You were a lifeline. You were the one thing in their life that was real, that was constant, that was steady. You were the warmth in the cold, the light in the dark, the hope in the hopelessness. But they took you for granted. They thought they could treat you as an afterthought, as a second choice, as something that could be discarded when it no longer suited their needs. They never understood that you were the one thing in their life that mattered most, the one thing that they could never replace. And now they'll try, won't they? They'll try to find someone who looks like you, talks like you, acts like you. They'll try to fill the void you left behind with someone who mimics your actions, who mirrors your words, but it will never work. No matter how hard they try, no one will ever be able to match the uniqueness that was you. They will never find someone who loves with the same depth, with the same intensity, with the same understanding. They will never find someone who looks at them with the same eyes, eyes that saw through the walls they built around themselves, eyes that saw them for who they truly were, without judgment, without hesitation, without fear. They will never find someone who gives as freely as you did, someone who believed in them even when they couldn't believe in themselves. They will never find someone who stood by them when everyone else walked away, someone who believed in the beauty of their soul when they couldn't see it themselves. They will never find someone who would have gone to the ends of the earth to make sure they were happy, to make sure they were safe, to make sure they felt loved. You gave everything. And yet, they didn't understand that it wasn't about what you gave. It was about who you were. They never understood that love isn't something you can just find. It's not something you can search for in someone else. You can't just pick it up and place it in your hands when you want it. Love is earned, it's built, it's nurtured, and it's treasured. But they never learned that lesson, did they? They never learned to value what they had until it was gone. And now, they'll be left with nothing but the bitter taste of regret, nothing but the echo of your love that will never truly leave them. Even though you are no longer there, they can never replace you, and they will spend the rest of their lives trying to do so, searching in vain, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone else will come along who can fill the hole you left behind. But they will never find it, not because they're not worthy of love, but because no one else will ever be able to offer the same depth of connection, the same unwavering commitment, the same genuine care that you gave so freely. No one will ever be able to love them with the same purity, the same loyalty, the same intensity. And while they're out there trying to convince themselves that they can replace you, you'll be living your life. You'll be moving forward, thriving, growing, becoming the best version of yourself. You'll be surrounded by people who appreciate you for who you are, who value the love and light you bring into their lives. You'll be finding your own peace, your own joy, your own strength, and they will be left behind, wondering how they let someone so irreplaceable slip through their fingers. But here's the truth. It wasn't just their loss. It was theirs, and it was yours too. It was a loss that has to be faced, a loss that has to be dealt with, a loss that will leave a mark, but it's one that you will rise above. Because the truth is, you were never meant to stay in a place where you were not valued. You were never meant to remain in a situation that didn't honor your worth. You were never meant to give all of yourself to someone who couldn't see the value in it. They can never replace you. You were the heart of everything they thought they needed. You were the soul that made everything come alive. And now they will be left searching for something that doesn't exist. They will never find someone who can make them feel the way you did. They will never find someone who can lift them up in the same way, who can love them with the same fierce passion, who can hold them in the same tender embrace. You were the one who made them believe in love, who made them believe in themselves, who made them believe that anything was possible. And now, they'll be stuck with the cold, empty remnants of what once was. And you'll be free. Free to be who you truly are. Free to embrace the beauty of your soul, the strength of your heart, and the power of your mind. You will find people who see you for what you truly are, a rare, beautiful, and irreplaceable force. You will find people who value you, who honor you, who treat you with the respect you deserve. And they'll be stuck in the past, trapped in a world of what-ifs, lost in the hollow shell of a life they tried to rebuild without you. They can never replace you. And the worst part is, they know it. Deep down, they know it. But they can't admit it. They can't admit that they lost the one person who could have made everything right. They can't admit that they took you for granted, that they let you slip away, that they never truly saw the treasure they had in their hands. And as time passes, they will learn to live with that knowledge. They will carry it with them, buried deep inside, a wound that will never heal. They will search for something, someone, to fill the void, but they'll never find it. They'll never find someone who loves the way you loved, who gives the way you gave, who sees them the way you saw them. And when they look back, they'll wonder how they could have been so blind, how they could have let the one person who truly cared slip away, how they could have let someone who would have stood by them through everything, someone who would have given them everything, walk out the door without a second thought. But it's too late. You're gone, and they'll never find anyone who can replace you. You were never meant to be replaced. You were never meant to be just another part of their life that could be easily swapped out. You were meant to be cherished, to be honored, to be loved deeply and without reservation. And while they failed to see that, while they failed to understand what they had, you will rise, you will shine, and you will move forward into a life that is rich with the love and respect you deserve. So let them search, let them try, let them waste their time and energy chasing something that doesn't exist. Because the truth is, you are irreplaceable, you are one of a kind, and no matter how hard they try, they will never, ever be able to find anyone like you. And that, my friends, is something they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. You were the heart, and without you, they are nothing. They can never replace you, and for that, they will never escape the loss they created. You will continue to thrive, you will continue to rise, and in the end, that will be the final victory, because they will never replace you, and you will never need them again. They thought strength was loud. They thought power was obvious. They thought intelligence always announces itself. But real dominance moves in silence. Real control breathes calm, and the sharpest mind never needs to raise its voice. You did not rush. You did not panic. You watched, you learned. You waited, and while they were busy underestimating you, you were mapping every step, every habit, every weakness. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. This is what happens when discipline meets patience, and patience meets vision, and vision refuses to blink. Before this goes any further, let me speak to you directly. If these words are hitting something deep inside you, if this feels like it is describing a version of you that you rarely talk about, then stay with me till the end. And if you want more of this energy, more of this truth, more of this fuel, then like this video, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment not for me but for yourself. Because when you engage, you make a promise that you are done playing small and ready to sharpen what already scares people about you. They never saw it coming because they were too busy being predictable. They moved on, patterns. They spoke on impulse, they reacted on emotion. You moved on intention every time they laughed. You listened every time they spoke. You learned every time they thought they won. You were already 3 steps ahead. This is the part they cannot process, not because it is magical, but because it requires restraint. And restraint is rare in a world addicted to instant reaction. You understood that information is power, and silence is strategy, and timing is everything. You never needed to expose them. You never needed to confront them. You never needed to prove anything, because the smartest move is letting people reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. They thought you were passive. They thought you were unaware. They thought you were slow. But what they mistook for weakness was calculation. What they mistook for calm was control. What they mistook for absence was preparation. Your mind was working when theirs was resting. Your focus was sharpening while theirs was scattered. This is where your IQ becomes cutthroat, not cruel, not reckless, but precise. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know when to act and when to wait. You understand human behavior better than they understand themselves. You recognize patterns before they become problems. You see motives before they turn into actions, and that ability changes everything. Because when you know the move before it happens, the outcome is already decided. They play checkers. You play something else entirely. They react. You respond. They rush you. Position yourself. They chase attention. You build leverage. And leverage is quiet. Leverage does not beg. Leverage does not explain leverage. Just exists. And when the moment comes, it shifts the entire game without noise, without drama, without warning. They look around wondering how the ground changed beneath them. And you are already gone, standing on higher ground. You studied them without judgment. You observed without emotion. You allowed them to feel comfortable enough to be careless. That is the genius of a patience. It gives others the illusion of safety. They show you who they are when they believe they are unchallenged. And you took notes, not on paper, but in memory, storing tone, patterns, habits, timing, reactions, and tells. This was never personal. This was strategic. When the moment arrived, you did not celebrate. You did not hesitate. You executed clean, simple, and final. Not to destroy, but to secure your position. Because real intelligence is not about hurting others. It is about protecting your future and ensuring that no one can manipulate, distract, or derail you. Again, they call it cold because they do not understand discipline. They call it ruthless because they do not understand boundaries. They call it lucky because they cannot accept that preparation beats chaos every time. Your last move was genius because it was invisible until it was irreversible. It did not scream. It did not threaten. It did not warn, it simply happened. And by the time they noticed, it was already too late. This is the kind of mastery that only comes from self-control, from delayed gratification, from long nights of thinking instead of reacting, from choosing growth over ego again and again. You are not driven by applause. You are driven by clarity. You do not seek validation because you know who you are and what you are capable of. And that scares people more than confidence ever could, because confidence can be faked, but clarity cannot. Clarity shows in your eyes, in your posture, in your silence, in the way you move without rushing, and speak without over-explaining. They underestimated the depth of your thinking. They mistook your kindness for naivety. They thought because you did not respond immediately, you did not understand. But understanding does not require instant reply. Sometimes the most powerful response is none at all. Sometimes the strongest statement is progress. Sometimes the loudest answer is results. You outgrew the need to win arguments because you chose to win positions. You stopped correcting people because you started outpacing them. You realized that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, your energy. And that discernment changed everything. Once you stopped explaining yourself, you started executing. Once you stopped reacting, you started dominating your own path. This is not about revenge. This is about evolution. This is about refusing to be predictable in a world that thrives on patterns. This is about becoming so sharp, so aware, so grounded that manipulation no longer works on you. Pressure no longer controls you, and distractions no longer slow you down. You move with intention because you know exactly where you are going. They cannot process it because it forces them to confront their own lack of discipline, their own impulsiveness, their own shallow planning. It is easier for them to call you calculating than to admit they never calculated anything. It is easier to label you distant than to admit they never listened. It is easier to say you changed than to admit you grew. You did not become heartless. You became selective. You did not become cold. You became focused. You did not become distant. You became intentional. And that transformation is what separates leaders from followers, thinkers from talkers, architects from spectators. You are building something while they are still commenting from the sidelines. Every move you make now has weight because it is backed by thought. Every decision has direction because it is backed by vision. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are shaping your place within it, and that is why your presence feels different now, because you are not seeking approval. You are setting standards. They will replay moments in their head, trying to figure out where they misread you, where they lost control, where the balance shifted, and they will not find the answer because the shift did not happen in a moment. It happened over time, while you were learning, while you were adjusting, while you were refining yourself in silence. Your intelligence is not loud. It is lethal in its precision, not harmful, but undeniable. It cuts through confusion. It slices through manipulation. It ends games before they begin. And that is why the smartest thing you ever did was stop announcing your intentions and start executing them. You learn that emotional control is a superpower. You learn that staying calm when others panic gives you an edge. You learn that listening more than speaking reveals everything you need to know. And once you learn these things, the game changed forever. They thought they were ahead because they were moving fast, but speed without direction leads nowhere. You move slow with purpose, and purpose always arrives. This is why when the dust settled, you were standing where you intended to be while they were still trying to understand what happened. This is the cost of being underestimated. You become unstoppable because no one prepares for you. No one guards against you. No one sees you as a threat until it is too late. And by then, you are no longer competing. You are operating on a different level entirely. Your mind became a quiet battlefield where discipline defeated impulse, where logic overcame emotion, where patience outlasted chaos. And the winner was not just a move, but a mindset, one that will continue to carry you forward long after this moment. They will call your last move genius because it makes them uncomfortable to admit it was inevitable. It was the result of consistency, awareness, and control traits. They never developed because they were too busy reacting to the noise around them. Remember this feeling, not as pride, but as confirmation. Confirmation that silence works, that patience pays, that intelligence, when combined with discipline, becomes unstoppable. Do not grow careless now. Do not seek recognition. Now stay sharp, stay grounded, stay observant, because the same qualities that brought you here will take you further than you can imagine. You are not done. You are just getting started, and the best part is they still have no idea how far ahead you really are. You keep moving the same way, silent, focused, deliberate, because you already learned the danger of announcing growth too early. You understand that when people know your next step, they begin planning against it, so you let results speak instead of promises and outcomes replace explanations. This is not secrecy born from fear. This is strategy born from experience. You saw what happens when too many eyes watch unfinished work, so you learn to build in private and reveal only when it is complete. The deeper truth is this: your mind changed before your circumstances ever did. You stopped seeking comfort in familiarity and started finding strength in solitude. You spent time alone, not because you were lonely, but because you were sharpening yourself. You questioned your habits, your reactions, your emotional triggers, and you rebuilt them one by one. This internal work is invisible to most people, but it is the foundation of everything they now struggle to understand about you. You noticed how easily people reveal themselves when they think they are in control, how confidence turns into carelessness, how power exposes character, and instead of judging, you observed. Instead of reacting, you adapted. You understood that knowledge is not what you know, but what you can predict. And prediction gives you leverage without force, without noise, without conflict. Your restraint confused them because they live in a world of instant response. They speak before thinking. They act before planning. They chase short victories and call it success. You chose a longer road, one that required discipline and sacrifice, one that demanded you sit with discomfort while others escaped it, and that decision quietly separated you from the crowd, long before anyone noticed. You realized that intelligence is not just mental speed, but emotional balance, knowing when not to engage, knowing when silence protects more than words, knowing when walking away preserves power. You stopped giving energy to situations designed to drain you and redirected that focus into growth skill and awareness, and that redirection changed your trajectory completely. They tried to read you using outdated versions of who you were. They remembered the old reactions, the old patterns, the old limits, but you were no longer operating from that place. You evolved, while they assumed you stayed the same. And that assumption became their blind spot, because people defend against what they expect, not what has already changed. Your presence now carries weight because it is grounded. You do not rush approval. You do not chase validation. You do not argue your worth. You let consistency prove it. You let progress define it. And that calm certainty unsettles those who rely on chaos to feel powerful, because they cannot manipulate what does not react. You learned that every environment teaches you something. If you pay attention, pressure taught you control, loss taught you focus, disappointment taught you precision and silence, taught you clarity. You turned every experience into data, every mistake into instruction, every setback into refinement, and slowly, methodically, you built a version of yourself that no longer breaks under observation. They cannot process how you knew, because they never realized you were watching. When they were performing, they were busy projecting images while you were studying behavior. They were busy winning moments while you were planning outcomes. And by the time they noticed the shift, the balance had already moved in your favor. You stopped explaining your silence because you understood. It was not empty. It was loaded with intention. You stopped justifying your distance because you knew proximity without respect is a liability. You stopped overgiving because you realized access must be earned, and those boundaries did not make you colder. They made you stronger, clearer, and harder to misread. This level of awareness is not accidental. It is trained. It is built through repetition, through reflection, through choosing logic over impulse, again and again. Even when emotion demanded release, you held it. Even when reaction felt justified, you paused, and that pause became your advantage. Because in that space between stimulus and response, you gain control. They will try to analyze your success backwards, trying to find a single moment, a single trick, a single move that explains it. But there is no shortcut explanation. There is only accumulation, small, disciplined choices, stacking over time, unseen, uncelebrated until they become undeniable. And when that moment arrives, it looks like genius to those who ignored the process. Your last move was genius because it was aligned with who you became, not who you pretended to be. It was calm because you are calm. It was precise because you are precise. It was final because you do not move without certainty. And that certainty comes from knowing yourself, knowing your limits, and knowing exactly how far you can go without losing control. You are not fueled by anger. You are fueled by clarity. Anger burns fast and fades. Clarity endures. Anger reacts. Clarity directs. And that difference defines everything about how you operate. Now, you do not need to prove. You need to progress. And progress does not require an audience. They will speak about you in fragments because they never had full access. They will describe you as distant, calculating, quiet, intense, because those are the words people use when they cannot reach someone anymore. And that distance is not arrogance, it is protection of focus, protection of momentum, protection of the future you are building. You understand now that power is not domination, it is independence. It is the ability to move, without permission, to decide, without pressure, to stand firm, without noise. And that power unsettles those who rely on control because it cannot be taken. It can only be earned, and you earned it through discipline. Every step forward now feels lighter because you are no longer carrying unnecessary weight, expectations that were not yours, emotions that were not productive, relationships that were not aligned. You trimmed everything that slowed you down, and what remains is sharp, efficient, and intentional. They underestimated you once, and that was enough, because underestimation creates space. Space to grow, space to plan, space to execute without resistance. And you used that space wisely. You did not waste it, proving points. You invested it, building leverage, and leverage, once built, does not need defending. You are aware that staying ahead requires continued restraint, continued observation, continued growth. This is not a finish line. It is a standard, and you hold yourself to it quietly, consistently, without announcement, because you know mastery is maintained, not achieved. Once, let them wonder, let them replay, let them guess. You do not owe clarity to those who never listened. You do not owe access to those who underestimated you. And you do not owe explanations for growth that cost you discipline, focus, and sacrifice. Stay sharp, stay silent, stay intentional, because the same mind that saw every move before it happened will see every opportunity before it appears. And that is how you continue winning, without noise, without conflict, without ever needing to explain why your last move was genius. You keep choosing awareness over noise because you understand now that attention is a currency, and most people spend it carelessly. You invest it deliberately. You watch how rooms change when you enter, how conversations shift, how people reveal tension when they realize you are not easily influenced. This awareness does not inflate your ego. It sharpens your restraint because you know influence grows stronger when it is unforced. You learn that the real battle was never external. It was internal, mastering impulse, mastering fear, mastering the urge to respond immediately, mastering the temptation to explain yourself, mastering the desire to be understood by those who never tried to understand you. This internal victory is what made everything else inevitable, because once you control yourself, the environment loses its power over you. You started recognizing timing as an art, not a coincidence. Knowing when to move matters more than how fast you move. Knowing when to wait matters more than how much you want to act. You trained yourself to sit with uncertainty while others rushed toward false clarity, and that patience allowed truth to surface naturally, without interrogation, without pressure. They mistook your stillness for indecision because they equate motion with progress. You knew better. You knew that clarity comes before action, and that action without clarity creates damage. You refused to move until your mind aligned with your purpose. And when that alignment happened, there was no hesitation, only execution. Your thinking became layered. You no longer saw situations as single events, but as sequences. You understood that every action creates a reaction, and every reaction reveals information. You use that information to adjust, not emotionally but strategically, and that adaptability is what kept you ahead while others remained stuck, defending outdated positions. You stopped needing to be seen as smart because you realized intelligence speaks through outcomes, not labels. You let others take credit. You let others feel ahead. You let others feel secure, because security breeds carelessness, and carelessness reveals everything. This was never manipulation. This was observation, paired with discipline. You noticed how quickly people underestimate what they cannot read. They rely on familiarity patterns, tone, volume, expression. When those signals are absent, they become uneasy, and that unease makes them predictable. Predictable in speech, predictable in behavior, predictable in mistakes. And predictability is the opposite of power. You became comfortable being misunderstood because you understood yourself. You no longer corrected narratives because narratives do not control outcomes. Actions do. You focused on positioning, not perception. And that focus quietly rewrote the balance without debate. Your silence became intentional, not withdrawn, not passive, but deliberate. A filter, not a wall. You allowed information in but released very little out. And that asymmetry gave you clarity. While others operated on assumption, you operated on knowledge. They questioned your calm in moments where reaction was expected. They waited for emotion where logic was required. They searched for weakness where discipline had replaced it. And every time you did not respond as expected, their confidence eroded slightly, because unpredictability unsettles those who rely on control. You learn that power does not announce itself. It settles in. It becomes steady. It becomes unshakable. It becomes boring to those addicted to drama, but unstoppable. Ah, friends, gather close, for today we talk about regret. Not the fleeting kind, not the type you brush off with a laugh and a shrug, but the kind that lingers, the kind that becomes a shadow following you everywhere, whispering reminders of the things you could have done, should have done, the things you left unsaid, the actions you never took. We talk about the weight of decisions made and paths chosen. Regret, my friends, is not something that can be simply erased with time or with a change of scenery. It festers, it grows, it transforms, it becomes a part of you, woven into the fabric of your being. And today, I will talk about a regret so deep, so consuming, that it defines not just the past, but the future. Your departure, your leaving, was the ultimate plot twist they never saw coming. You see, most people live their lives thinking that their presence is a constant, a given. They believe they are the center of the story, the protagonist in the narrative of their own life, and more often than not, the lives of others. They walk through their days with an unspoken sense of entitlement, assuming that the world revolves around them, that they have the luxury of time, that they will always be there, always present, always available. But you shattered that illusion. You showed them the truth they were too blind to see, the truth that no one is irreplaceable, the truth that every story has an end, and sometimes the end comes when no one expects it. You were the one who slipped away, quietly, subtly, leaving behind a void too vast to fill. And the shock of your departure, the silence that followed, reverberated through every life you touched. It left them reeling, scrambling for meaning, trying to understand how they could have missed the signs, how they could have overlooked the weight of your absence. They thought they had time. They thought you were theirs to hold on to forever. But you proved them wrong. You proved that time waits for no one, that the end comes without warning, without mercy. You proved that the most powerful thing you can do is leave, and leave without looking back. In their eyes, you were the dependable one, the one who would always be there when the chips were down, the one who would pick up the pieces when everything else fell apart. They took you for granted, they leaned on you, they expected you to always be the constant in their chaotic world. But you had other plans. You knew that the greatest power lies not in staying, not in enduring, not in being the rock for others to cling to. No, the greatest power lies in walking away, in choosing yourself, in recognizing that your worth is not defined by how much you can give to others, but by how much you choose to keep for yourself. Your departure was not just an exit from a place or a group of people, it was a declaration, a bold statement that you are not bound by anyone's expectations, not bound by anyone's needs, not bound by anyone's demands. You were the ultimate plot twist. You were the one who refused to be trapped in someone else's story. They didn't see it coming. They never expected you to walk away. They thought you would always be there, waiting in the wings, ready to step in and play the role they assigned you. But you refused to be anyone's second choice. You refused to be a supporting character in someone else's drama. And when you left, when you disappeared from their lives, it was as if the entire script collapsed. The story they had been writing, the story they had imagined with you in it, came to an abrupt halt, and they were left standing in the ruins of their own expectations, unsure of what to do with the empty space you left behind. Do not let anyone tell you that you are selfish for leaving. Do not let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing your own path, for prioritizing your own happiness, your own peace. You owe no one an explanation for your departure. You owe no one an apology for making the choice that was best for you. People will always try to guilt you, always try to manipulate you into staying where you do not belong, into continuing to give when you have nothing left to offer. But the truth is, they were never entitled to you. They were never entitled to your time, your energy, your presence. You owe nothing to those who only see you as a means to an end, who only value you for what you can do for them. The moment you realize your own worth, the moment you stop allowing others to define you, you unlock the power to make decisions that are yours and yours alone. And when you walked away, when you chose yourself over them, that was your moment of power. That was your declaration of independence. And don't mistake this for bitterness. Don't mistake this for anger. No, this is not about resentment or vengeance. This is about self-preservation. This is about recognizing that you are more than just a cog in someone else's machine. You are not a tool for others to use when they need you, and you are not a convenience that can be called upon when it suits them. Your worth is not defined by how much you can give, how much you can sacrifice, how much you can endure. Your worth is defined by your choices, by your ability to walk away when you know you deserve more, when you know you can give more to yourself than you can ever give to anyone else. You proved that you are not a lifeline to be clung to, not a placeholder to be kept on standby. You are a force, a power, a storm that cannot be tamed. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Let them sit with the emptiness you left behind. Let them wrestle with the regret, the questions, the what ifs. It is not your responsibility to make them feel better. It is not your burden to bear. Their regret is their own to deal with, just as your decision was yours. You gave them the gift of seeing their own weakness, their own dependence on you, and that gift will haunt them forever. They will forever wonder if they could have done more, said more, been more. But that is not your problem anymore. You did not leave them out of spite. You did not leave them because you hated them. You left because you loved yourself more. You left because you realized that your life is your own, and no one else gets to write your story for you. Now, as you stand at the crossroads of your future, remember this. They will try to make you feel guilty for leaving. They will try to make you believe that you have abandoned them, that you are the one in the wrong. But deep down, they know the truth. They know that your departure was not a mistake. They know that you did what they could never do, that you made the choice they were too afraid to make. And when the dust settles, when the emotions cool, when the time passes, they will come to understand that you were the one who had the courage to walk away. You were the one who saw beyond the immediate moment, who understood that staying would have been your undoing. They will come to realize that your departure was the ultimate plot twist they never saw coming, and they will regret, perhaps for the rest of their lives, not seeing it sooner. So, stand tall, walk proudly, hold your head high. You are not a villain. You are not the one who did wrong. You are the one who chose to take control of your own life. You are the one who decided that your happiness, your peace, and your future mattered more than anyone else's expectations. And that, my friends, is the most powerful thing you can ever do. As they struggle with the weight of your absence, remember this. Your departure was not just an ending. It was a new beginning, a beginning of a life that is entirely yours to shape, to mold, to live on your terms. And while they may never truly understand why you left, you know that it was the right decision. It was the plot twist that had to happen, the change in direction that was necessary for your own story to unfold. Let them wonder. Let them regret. Let them try to piece together the puzzle of your departure. Because in the end, you are the one who holds the power, the one who controls the narrative. And when they finally accept it, when they finally realize that they had no right to keep you in their story, it will be too late. You will be long gone, living a life they could never have imagined, thriving in a world they were never part of. You will have become the person they never saw coming. And that, my friends, is the ultimate revenge. It is not in anger. It is not in bitterness, but in the simple fact that you chose yourself, that you chose to write your own story, and that you walked away when they thought you never would. And so, as we conclude this chapter, remember, the greatest plot twist is not in the ones who leave, but in the ones who choose to live life on their own terms. Are the ones who understand that the world is not a prison, not a place meant to cage their dreams and aspirations. These are the people who look at the chains of expectation, the demands of others, and the relentless pressure to conform, and they simply walk away. They step out of the lines drawn for them, leaving behind a trail of questions, of confusion, and perhaps even of anger. But in their hearts, They know one thing. The only way to live a life that is truly worth living is to carve your own path, to define your own purpose, and to walk in the direction that calls to you, not the one that others try to push you toward. The truth is, those who choose to live life on their own terms are the rarest breed. They are the ones who are not afraid to stand alone, to face the uncertainty of the unknown, to leap into the void of possibility without the guarantee of safety. And, oh, how the world fears them, how others fear them, because their very existence challenges the status quo, threatens the idea that we must all fall in line, that we must all follow the rules, the unwritten laws that govern society. The ones who choose to live on their own terms are the ones who look at the world with defiance, who refuse to bow to the pressure of society's expectations. But the road is not easy. It is never easy. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the weight of the choices you've made feels unbearable, when the fear of regret threatens to undo all that you've fought for, when you take the step to leave, when you make the decision to break away from the life that others have planned for you. There will always be that moment when you question whether you've done the right thing. There will be the nagging voice in the back of your mind telling you that you should have stayed, that you should have endured, that you should have sacrificed just a little bit more. But let me tell you something. That voice is not your own. It is the voice of the world, of society, of those who are too afraid to make the choices you've made. It is the voice of those who cannot imagine a life outside of the paths that have been laid out for them. The voice of those who cling to the comfort of the known, even if it means sacrificing their soul in the process. You, my friends, are different. You have broken free from the chains. You have chosen to live by your own rules, to shape your own future, to live a life that is authentic to you. And yes, there will be times when you will face the consequences of your decision. There will be moments when others will question you, criticize you, and even attempt to make you feel guilty for daring to choose yourself over them. They will say you're selfish, that you've abandoned them, that you've been callous in your decision to walk away. But remember this, their judgment comes from a place of fear, a place of their own insecurity, their inability to understand the strength it takes to choose yourself over the comfort of others. You are not selfish for taking the steps necessary for your own well-being. You are not wrong for recognizing that your life, your happiness, and your future are yours to determine. The ones who will judge you are the ones who will never understand the depth of what it means to walk away, to stand on your own, to live a life that is yours and yours alone. And in this life, the greatest thing you can do is choose yourself. When you choose yourself, you choose freedom. You choose the ability to shape your world without the influence of those who try to control it. You choose the power to redefine success on your own terms, to break free from the expectations that limit you, and to step into your greatness. When you choose yourself, you free yourself from the tyranny of others' opinions, from the crushing weight of approval seeking, from the endless cycle of living to please others. The world may not understand your decision. They may never understand why you left, why you chose to walk away when it seemed like you had everything to gain by staying. But here's the thing, they don't need to understand. Their understanding is irrelevant to the truth of your journey. What matters is that you understand. What matters is that you know in your heart that this was the right choice for you. That the path you chose, no matter how difficult, no matter how lonely, was the only path that would lead you to the person you are meant to be. You did not choose to leave for anyone else's benefit. You did it because you recognized that your soul was yearning for more, that your spirit could not be confined to the life others expected of you. And in doing so, you proved something that no one can take away from you. You proved that you are strong enough to take control of your own life, to claim your own story. Now, when you walk away, when you make the choice to leave behind what no longer serves you, there is a powerful realization that you must come to. Your departure is not the end of your story. It is the beginning. It is the start of a new chapter, one that is yours to write. The world may look at you and see someone who has given up, someone who has failed, someone who has chosen the hard road. But what they fail to see is that you have chosen to live authentically, to live in a way that aligns with your deepest values and desires. What they fail to see is that your departure was not a retreat, but a bold step forward into the life you are meant to live. And that, my friends, is what makes your decision so powerful. Your departure was the ultimate plot twist, not because it shocked others, but because it marked the moment when you took back control of your life. It was the moment when you decided that your story was no longer going to be dictated by the expectations of others. It was the moment when you chose to be the author of your own narrative, to take the pen in your hand and write the ending that you deserve. When you walk away, the world will try to convince you that you've made a mistake, that you've abandoned what could have been. They will try to make you doubt yourself, to second-guess your decision, to wonder if you did the right thing. But deep down, you will know the truth. You will know that this was the only choice that could have set you free, the only choice that could have given you the chance to live the life you were meant to live. The world may not understand it now, but in time, they will come to see the strength in your decision. They will see that your departure was not a sign of weakness, but of extraordinary courage. They will realize that you were never meant to stay, that your true power was always in your ability to leave when everyone else thought you would stay. And so, I say to you, do not fear the moment when you must leave, when you must break away from the lives of others, from the expectations of the world, from the chains that bind you. Because in that moment, you will realize that you are not walking away from something. You are walking toward everything you were always meant to be. You are stepping into a future that is entirely yours to create. And in that creation, you will find the peace and fulfillment that only comes when you live life on your own terms. Your departure was the ultimate plot twist they never saw coming. And for that reason, it is the most powerful thing you could have ever done. Let them wonder, let them question, let them regret. Because in the end, the only thing that matters is that you chose yourself. You chose the road less traveled. You chose freedom. You chose to live life on your own terms. And that, my friends, is a choice that will never be regretted. When you choose yourself, when you prioritize your needs and desires above the expectations of others, you are stepping into a realm where regret cannot touch you. It may seem counterintuitive to some, especially those who live their lives trying to meet the demands of the world, trying to please everyone else. The idea of walking away, of breaking free, is often painted as something selfish, something to be ashamed of. But those who understand the true power of this decision, those who have walked that lonely, uncertain road, know that it is anything but selfish. It is the most self-loving act you could ever perform. To walk away from what no longer serves you is to declare your worth. It is to say, in no uncertain terms, that you understand your value, that you know that your peace, your happiness, your freedom are sacred, and you will no longer allow anything or anyone to diminish that. The world will often try to convince you that you are selfish for doing this, but in reality, it is the highest form of self-care, the deepest act of self-respect. People who are willing to give their energy, time, and love to others at the cost of their own well-being are often the ones who feel the deepest regret later. They sacrifice their peace, their joy, their sense of self for the approval of others, for the comfort of those who would rather keep them in their prescribed roles, in their carefully constructed lives. But you have broken that cycle. You have chosen to live authentically. to be true to your own soul. That, my friends, is a choice that will never be regretted because it aligns with the deepest part of you, the part that knows, deep down, that you were never meant to live in the shadows of others, never meant to hide behind the expectations, the obligations, the roles that others have placed upon you. This decision, the decision to choose yourself, is an act of rebellion against the social programming that tells us that our value lies in what we can give to others. The truth is, your value lies in what you give to yourself. The space to breathe, the freedom to explore, the right to live life on your own terms. This is not just an act of leaving, this is an act of creation. You are creating the life that aligns with your truest self, the life that will fulfill you, the life that will nourish your spirit. Yes, there will be those who will try to make you doubt your decision. There will be people who, from their own place of insecurity and fear, will try to make you believe that you are wrong for walking away, for choosing a path that goes against the grain of what is expected. They will call you selfish, they will call you heartless, and they will try to make you feel guilty for taking control of your own narrative. But the truth is, these judgments are born from their own fear, their own inability to make the same choice. They will never understand the strength it takes to walk away from what is comfortable, to leave behind what everyone else thinks is right, just so you can live a life that is authentic to you. You must remember, their judgment of you is irrelevant to your journey. Their opinions, their criticisms, their attempts to make you feel guilty or wrong are just noise. They come from a place of their own limitations, from the part of them that wishes they could have the courage to do what you've done. In their eyes, your decision is incomprehensible because they have never dared to step outside of their comfort zones, never dared to look beyond the narrow confines of their own world. They stay, clinging to what is safe, what is familiar, and in doing so, they trap themselves in a cage of their own making. But you've chosen to break free. You've chosen to live life on your own terms, to take the risks that come with that decision, and to embrace the uncertainty of a future that is not dictated by anyone else. And this, my friends, is not something to be ashamed of. It is the boldest, most empowering choice you can make. There is something uniquely powerful about choosing to walk away when everyone else expects you to stay, about choosing to leave behind the familiar, the comfortable, the known. It is in those moments when you take that step into the unknown that you are showing the world and yourself what you are truly made of. The road ahead is never easy. It is never guaranteed, but it is yours, and that is the most beautiful part of it all. This is not to say that the path you've chosen is without pain, without struggle. When you break free from the expectations and the lives that others have tried to impose upon you, there will be moments of doubt, moments of loneliness, and moments of fear. There will be times when you look back, when you wonder if you've made the right choice. You may even question yourself, wonder if you've given up too soon, if there was something you could have done differently. But these moments of doubt are fleeting. They are the tests that life sends your way to see if you are truly committed to your path, to your own happiness, to your own truth. And each time you push through these moments, each time you rise above the fear and the uncertainty, you become stronger. You become more certain of who you are and what you deserve. The truth is, there is no guarantee that the path you've chosen will be easy, but there is one thing that is certain. It will be worth it. It will be worth it because it is your path. It is the path that you have chosen for yourself, the path that aligns with your deepest desires and your true self. And when you choose this path, when you walk it with conviction and courage, you will find a sense of peace and fulfillment that will surpass anything you could have ever imagined. This peace, this contentment, is not found in the approval of others. It is not found in conforming to the expectations of the world. It is found in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. So yes, when you choose to walk away, when you choose to live life on your own terms, you may face opposition, you may face confusion, misunderstanding, and even judgment. But you must remain firm in your conviction. You must hold on to the truth that this choice is yours and yours alone. You are not obligated to live your life according to the rules set by others. You are not obligated to stay in places that no longer serve you. You are not obligated to fulfill roles that were never meant for you. You are the author of your own story, and you get to decide how it unfolds. The world may try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They will try to tell you that you are abandoning them, that you are selfish for thinking about your own happiness and well-being. But in reality, it is only when you choose yourself that you can truly give to others. It is only when you fill your own cup that you can pour into the lives of those around you. It is only when you are living authentically, when you are living in alignment with your truth, that you can show up fully for the people you care about. There will be times when the world, the people in your life, and even your own inner voice will try to convince you that leaving, that walking away is a mistake. They will try to make you believe that your decision is too bold, too radical, too risky. But let me tell you something. The greatest regrets are not born from the decisions we make to leave. The greatest regrets are born from the decisions we make to stay when we know we should go. The greatest regrets come from the moments when we sacrifice our own happiness and peace for the comfort of others. The greatest regrets come from the times when we live for someone else's expectations, not for our own dreams. And so, you must remember this. Your departure is not a mistake. It is not a failure. It is not something you will regret. It is the most powerful choice you could have ever made, because it is the choice that finally allows you to be true to yourself. It is the choice that finally gives you the freedom to live the life you were always meant to live. And that is something that no one, no matter how hard they try, can take away from you. You have chosen yourself. And that, my friends, is a choice that will never be regretted. It will be the choice that propels you into the life you deserve. It will be the choice that sets you free. It will be the choice that allows you to stand tall, to walk proudly, and to embrace the future with open arms. Because in the end, there is nothing more powerful, more liberating, than living life on your own terms. And once you make that choice, once you step into your own power, you will never look back, and you will never regret it. In conclusion, the decision to walk away, to choose yourself over the expectations and demands of others, is not just an act of rebellion, it is an act of profound self-respect, of courage, and of liberation. It is the ultimate plot twist in a world that often tries to define who you should be, how you should live, and what you should value. When you make the choice to leave behind what no longer serves you, when you step into the unknown with nothing but your own truth to guide you, you are not running away from something. You are running toward everything you've always been meant to become. Yes, there will be challenges, there will be doubts, and there will be moments when you question whether you made the right decision. But remember this, no decision that leads you closer to your authentic self can ever be truly wrong. You will find peace, joy, and fulfillment, not in the approval of others, but in the quiet certainty that you are living a life that is true to who you are, not what the world expects you to be. Your departure, your bold step into the unknown, is not a mistake. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one that you write for yourself. It is the most powerful choice you could make because it allows you to finally live on your own terms, to be free from the chains of others' expectations, and to embrace a future that is full of possibility. You have chosen to be the author of your own story, to define success on your own terms, and to pursue a life that reflects your deepest desires. When you look back, You will not regret the decision to walk away, because it was not a retreat. It was a declaration of your strength, your worth, and your right to live fully and authentically. You will not regret choosing yourself, because it is the most important thing you can do. In the end, living for anyone else is never enough. But living for yourself, choosing yourself over the noise of the world, will lead you to the life you've always dreamed of. So stand tall, be proud of the choices you've made, and know that your departure, your refusal to conform, your decision to live by your own rules will never be something you regret. It will be the greatest decision of your life, because it is the moment when you truly began to live. And as you walk that path, you will discover a peace that comes only to those who dare to be themselves. A peace that will always remind you that the choice you made to walk away and choose yourself was not just the ultimate plot twist. It was the most powerful, liberating, and freeing thing you could ever do. And it is a choice you will never regret.